He's Vice President, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, Travel Michigan. We know this guy, Dave Lorenz. Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you, David. Aren't we all just looking forward to the possibility of one of these days not hearing the words historic event, at least for a little while?
Yeah,
Because, man,
I
I'm
would take
tired of it.
10 minutes of not.
Yeah,
It's
man, oh
been,
man.
oh my goodness. And I know your heart goes out to, as ours does, to the people of Midland. We know they're suffering right now. I was driving across the state on Monday, and I drove through that rain, and I had to drive north and back south. And one of those days when the windshield wipers are going nonstop and you still can't see? It was like that all day Monday. And then to see the terrible result is awful for our friends in the middle part of the state.
Yeah, over here on the west side of the state, I'm in the Muskegon area, so flooding on this side of the state as well. So it's been a statewide event. And something that I guess we're not totally surprised about. We've seen higher water levels in the Great Lakes coming our way for the last couple of years. I know when we met as a travel industry in February, when we had our Pure Michigan Governors Conference in Tourism in Grand Rapids, I wrapped up the conference with saying that while I was really pleased and see some great things in the future in a lot of ways, the three things I was most concerned about was a lack of funding for Pure Michigan, the high water levels, and the coronavirus. And man, if there's ever been a time when I didn't want to get three strikes in a row, that was it. Because unfortunately, I was, for the first time in my life, right.
Yeah,
They've
well,
all been causing us huge problems.
it's tough. And I was, I'm a pilot, and I was flying last week over the lakeshore from Holland to Grand Haven, and I had not seen what I saw, but real devastation on the lakeshore with erosion, and you could see
Yeah.
from the air some of the homes that are in danger over there. So there's just so many issues. We almost got the great quote out of the governor today. She was that close. She was that close to saying, "Damn dams." It almost came out. Fix the damn dams. But, it's just, there's so much going on. I don't mean to make light of things up
Yeah.
there, but oh well. So,
Well,
go ahead.
those of us who are around in that, I don't remember if it was 1988 or whatever. I used to live on the Muskegon River in the Maple Island area. My family did. And I remember that high water level and all that flooding and just countless houses underwater. And it was devastating, very difficult for a lot of people. But there is one thing, we always need to keep in mind, because I think when we're in the middle of these really horrible crises, they seem like they're going to go forever. And we need to remember that we'll get through this, and they don't go forever. There'll be a day, probably within our lifetime, when we're going to be talking about low water levels. What goes up must come down. And unfortunately, the dam challenges, excuse that strange use of language, are going to continue to cause us problems, as all infrastructure issues have been causing us problems for years. And I'm really hoping that one of these days we as a society will take those things seriously and find a way to come together to fund the work that needs to be done. I mean, nobody wants to pay more taxes, but everybody expects more services and more appropriate services. I understand that too. So there's got to be a way to come to the middle on these things. Almost always, when you take two opposing sides of any opinion and you try to get to the middle, you find a way to get things done. And I'm really hoping that we can get all of our policymakers and all of our citizens to come together and find a way to get it done. And it kind of leads to our campaign that we've just announced, the Two Peninsulas, One Pure Michigan campaign, that you might be seeing some billboards or maybe some TV out there. We put it together as both a celebration of who we are and what we are, but also a call for unity. So as we deal with these challenges, I'm really hoping that people can try to get away from, the typical partisan way to look at these things and try to find ways to work with each other. We can do it. We can get these things done if we come together.
Well, Dave Lorenz, well said, and it's one of the reasons I always enjoy talking to you, because you are always upbeat, positive, and an inspiration, and we appreciate that. It's been fun connecting with you through the various media outlets. You've been doing an awful lot. You've been doing some great virtual social media activities yourself lately. We've been tuning in, but for the people watching right now that might not be aware, tell us what you've been up to.
Well, we've been trying to both inform the public and prepare the travel industry for travelers who are going to be out there pretty soon, and at the same time, start to prepare the travelers for what will be their summer and into fall travel experiences. You know, pretty soon we will be out there traveling. Now's not the time. We need to stay home, keep everybody else safe, but we need to all prepare ourselves. So we've been gathering up kind of best case scenarios from around the country. And soon you're going to hear some of our communities coming out with their plans on how they're going to make sure that their communities are safe for their residents and their visitors alike to come and enjoy as retail and restaurants and all this start to open up. But at the same time, it's going to be important for travelers to realize that this is a two-way street. We need to be responsible travelers as well. So we'll be trying to get that information out about, you know, what that means, how we will travel, how we will keep each other safe in this very strange time. Meanwhile, we've also been trying to keep people's spirits up, and the Pure Michigan brand is a powerful brand, and I think most people see Pure Michigan as a reminder that we are one Pure Michigan. So among other things, we ran a fundraiser on mlive.com and on the Pure Michigan Facebook Live channels a couple of weeks ago, and brought in some money for all those displaced travel workers that are out of jobs. You know, there are something like 300,000 plus people from the travel and tourism industry that are out of jobs right now. We want to get them back to work, but in the meantime, you know, the unemployment benefits just aren't making it for them. So we put together in a relief effort with the Michigan Restaurant Lodging Association, and we had a really good time bringing musicians and celebrities and other guests talking. And you can still see those programs if you go to michigan.org and kind of go down the page and go to the Come Together page, and you'll see a variety of programs we put together, including we had interviews with Tim Allen and Mitch Albom and so many other people. So watch for that. And I know there are a lot of efforts to help out with right now, including the Midland issue. But if you'd like to help the relief effort for displaced hospitality workers, that website is mrlaef.org, as in Michigan Restaurant Lodging Association Education Fund.org. And we've been doing a variety of other things, but you know, our goal is to bring us together, to encourage us to travel in Michigan when the time is right, and encourage people right now to do their research at michigan.org and to make their bookings. And Dave, this is really important. It's going to be crazy busy out there once we're allowed to travel. So make your bookings now. My wife and I are going up to Mackinac, to the island in mid to late June when they open up. Can't wait. And we're making plans for the rest of the summer and into the fall. I recommend you do that too, because it's going to be so busy you might miss out if you don't make a booking right now. And don't worry if the stay-at-home order is extended, you'll be allowed to move those reservations later. So to get to it, I'm telling you, you better do it now.
Dave Lorenz, thank you very much for the update. The charitable effort is well needed. I'll get a check off myself today, and we'll encourage people to go to that destination. We're going to talk to John McNamara in a couple of minutes here from the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association as well, so we'll have another opportunity to do that on the program. So Northern Michigan is going to begin to open up. This is a big evening. It happens at midnight tonight. Yeah. And Zone 6 and Zone 8, we saw the governor say a couple of minutes ago the numbers are low. 2% in Zone 6, the tip of the mitt, under 1% in the UP, so that's all good news. But tonight, and I'm going to be in, I got a place in Northern Michigan, so I'm heading up today, and so I'll be there to see what's happening, and we'll report on it. But, we got to do the right thing now. We have to do the right thing and enjoy, but do it responsibly, because what didn't open today were restaurants downstate. And if things go well up north, then I think it will make it easier for the governor to open up restaurants and lodging downstate as well.
Yeah, you're right. And we're going to rely on our Northern Michigan friends to figure out how to do it right. And we're trying to help them out. Hey, it's important to realize, though, that those opportunities for retail and restaurants and such up north are for the local residents. We should not be traveling from downstate up to these northern places. Unless, like you have a second home, then that's okay. But please don't consider this for general travel yet. We're almost there. And if we can just hang tough a little while longer, we'll get through this thing a lot faster if we all do our part.
Yeah, and the governor stressed that, and we've been stressing that as well. If you got a place and you've got to get up there and get it open and get things done, and then it makes sense. But the stay-at-home order is still in place here in the state of Michigan. Nice to see it opens up a little bit, though, today. Gatherings of 10 people or less. I think that's going to be really helpful for people as they begin to gather around the state of Michigan. And listen, it's going to be we're going to be out there. We're going to be out there before we know it. And I really like your advice about making reservations, getting the plan in place. You can if it doesn't work out, right, you can adjust your plan. But I agree, Dave Lorenz. I think it's going to be, as things open up, which hopefully will be June, July, August, that it's going to be really busy at our venues.
It will be, and part of our responsibility will be to carry our face masks whenever you're inside a building, a public building, restaurants or whatever. Pay attention to all that social distancing. Even when you're outdoors, you're going to see communities opening up downtown streets, so there's more room. They're going to make a lot of adjustments for us. So we need to do our part to make sure that those local communities stay safe, that we stay safe, and that we're allowed to get back to some sense of normalcy. I know it's uncomfortable and nobody wants to wear those masks, but it's not forever. So let's do our part now.
No, and I know you've seen it, and I'll give you one more chance to say it again. But what we see here in Oakland County, and from the reports I'm seeing in the media, people are really doing a good job. They're wearing their masks. They're doing. I mean, when I go to the grocery store, and I don't go often, but when I go, everybody has a mask on. You get close to somebody and they start to back away a little bit. The retail establishments, and primarily the carryout restaurants that are open, it's amazing the contraptions they've come up with, and plexiglass here and carryout places there. And, the people have, and that's why our numbers are okay, and that's why the governor is opening things up today. Yet the people have done it, Dave Lorenz.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Well, for the most part, there are always the conspiracy theorists who thinks everything's, some plot to harm others and specifically them. But the fact is, if you don't want to play by the rules for now, first off, they're not going to be those rules forever. So stay home. Just don't play. But leave it to other people to be able to travel and to be able to exist in a safe environment until we get through this thing. And I totally respect people's opinions on this thing. I really do. But that's the rule right now. So if we do our part, we'll get through this thing. The general guideline for right now is if you need a car, it's probably too far. So, trying to stay in your own area. I'm really happy to see some retails opening up to some degree, with the new rules. That's going to be the first start. So again, we don't want to go backwards. I was thinking the other day that I'm one of those guys that when I get something that needs to be put together, I never look at the instructions. When I'm all done, there's always that part left over, and I've got to do it all over again. Doing it all over again here means people might die. So let's not have to do it all over again. Let's just follow the rules, follow the instructions. Come on, we can do that. We're adults, and let's get through it.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to my reporting this weekend, seeing what's happening. Again, it's all business. My trip to Northern Michigan, and I did.
Yeah, you might want to check out. You might want to check out wineries and things. Just because undercover reporting needs a lot of serious work.
Well, actually, you know what I am curious about? I mean, because you talk about rule breaking, I am going to file a story on what happens at midnight tonight in northern Michigan. I have to go there anyway for personal reasons, legitimate personal reasons. So while I'm there, while I'm there, I'm going to take a camera and we're going to see what we find out up there, and we might file a story. Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time for our little old show here in Oakland County. I know how busy you are, and my best wishes to you personally as well. We really appreciate you taking time and the amazing work you do for the state. You're just such a positive, upbeat spokesperson for everything Michigan, even beyond travel. So you're greatly appreciated and loved by many.
Well, thank you, David. Back to you. Thanks so much.
All right. Dave Lorenz from Travel Michigan Economic Development Corporation joining us right here today on the MegaCast.